See, basically, Iceland is a tiny country. Okay, in northern hemisphere, Iceland is a tiny country. Iceland is a tiny country. Just look at here. If you see the global map, this is the country Iceland. This is what it looks like. This is the country Iceland, right? Iceland, or we can say Iceland. Iceland's capital is, we know, we'll go for your discussions, and the global effect. The island's security threat is not only restricted to the Iceland only. It is completely a threat to the the majority of the continents that is located in the northern hemisphere, right? So Iceland, as we know, the island's capital is your Reykjavik. Reykjavik is the capital. So what happened exactly? Iceland global warming is the repercussion of the increasing heat. This global warming in Iceland is because of the increasing heat, right? Increasing, it is your increasing heat, right? It increasing heat your flux in the northern hemisphere. So how it's directly impact? Let's know. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, Subham. Good evening. So let's know about the Iceland, that how it is going to the effect is how it is going to the catastrophe. So before that one, let me explain that how the this is just representing a picture that is a thawing of glaciers. Thawing means your melting of glaciers. Okay, here in picture you all can see that the glacier is melting at a faster rate. Good evening, Om. Okay, it is glacier is melting at a very faster rate. But how it happens? If we see the geographically, islands is placed at the very on the Arctic Circle. Just look at here. Island, this is Arctic Circle. Here it is this 66.5. This is your Arctic Circle, right? Arctic Circle. Arctic Circles is your 66.5 degree, that is north, right? So before that, let us know in detail. Okay. So welcome everyone. Welcome all to our Odisha Civils, and I am your Astosh sir. So before that, let us know about the effect of the islands, your Iceland's your catastrophic effect. Not only it is restricted that, it is also restricted to the other parts of the globe. Basically, this melting, okay, this melting or thawing is because of your the collapse of amok. Just understand this one. The collapse of amok. I'm saying that the collapse of amok, right? Collapse of amok. And now the question is that what do we mean by the amok? What do you mean by the amok? But I said the thawing or the melting. Thawing means your melting, right? Thawing means your melting of glaciers. Now, what is the effect of this amok? Amok is basically, this is Atlantic meridional overturning circulations, right? We'll explain further, right? This is a melting of glaciers. So let us know about, okay, one by one. Iceland warming is 3 times faster than the global average. Basically, if we see that one, Iceland is warming about 3 times faster than the global average. Okay, faster than the global average, leading to significant glacial retreat. Okay, significant glacial retreat, increased precipitation and potential change in the river runoff. What I again wanted to convey that this is a very important topic in your environment. Okay, in your environment and also in the interview. It's also very significant in your UPSC and your OPSC preparations. Okay, as well also. So basically, what we saw here, the island is basically in 3 times faster. The how it is, okay. Global warming is also causing the issues like your more intense heat waves in northern hemisphere. If you see in the northern hemisphere, since we know northern hemisphere is more abide by your northern hemisphere. It is in the, if you see the northern hemisphere, it is basically called as your land hemisphere, right? Land hemisphere, right? And where the southern hemisphere is called as your water hemisphere, right? Water hemisphere. Because the presence of land itself in the northern hemisphere, okay, absorbs more heat. That we'll discuss further, right? So again, now the issues like more intense heat waves in the northern hemisphere. Okay, and since we know the more land is concentrated in the northern hemisphere, and because of this northern hemisphere, because of its northern hemisphere, we can see, there is more insolation. Okay, and since we know there is a law in physics that the land mass is getting heated, the process of conduction. Okay, the process of conduction, that is why the global warming is increasing. Okay, global warming is dipping. This is one of the most significant way of analyzing that why the heat content is more in northern hemisphere, because of the conduction effect. Okay, the other activities like your industrial activities, other activities are there, there is nothing denied, but why the heat retention capacity is not in northern hemisphere is more in compared to southern hemisphere. This is because of the phenomena like the conduction heats. Now see, apart from the land hemisphere terrestrial part, also the aquatic is there. Okay, let's know about that one. Then again, potential amok collapse. Since we know that amok, okay, that is in Atlantic Ocean circulations. Let's see, Iceland faces a significant national security threat from the potential collapse of the amok. Okay, from the potential collapse of the amok ocean current system, which would stop the transport of warm water. Okay, which would stop the transport of warm water from the tropics to the tropics to the your Arctic. Okay, could have solved the consequences. We'll have a vivid discussions about this oceanic circulations, how this oceanic circulations plays a very vital role in the in such this heat circulation in the northern hemisphere, and khas karike jodi ame dekhiba, and it is more in your Atlantic Ocean, northern Atlantic Oceans. Okay, let's see about, see, before that one, just look at the map here. Okay, this is the your northern hemisphere I'm talking about. This is the northern hemisphere. Okay, just see it here. What is amok, right? What is amok? Amok is basically the Atlantic meridional overturning circulations. Okay, Atlantic meridional overturning circulations. Amok is the main current system in the Atlantic Oceans. It is the main current system in the Atlantic Oceans basically, and is also a part of the global thermohaline circulations. Okay, thermohaline circulation. Again, if I say that, what do you mean by the thermohaline? Thermohaline means, thermal means, okay, if I say thermohaline, let's say thermohaline. Okay, thermohaline means, if I say thermo means your temperature, and haline means your salt content. Okay, based on the salt content, that means there is an regulations of your salt content. You will see in the in vividly, we'll narrate this one. Thermal circulation which connects the world ocean single as in conveyor belt. Okay, as an conveyor belt of continuous your water exchange. Let us know that one, right? Just look at the map here again. See, if we see, this is equator, just if we see, this is your equator, right? This is your equator. What happens, equator रे कौन हुए basically? Equator रे कौन हमें जानचो? Equator रे then जब हम equator रे देखिवा कि there is more temperature. Okay, temperature is high at equator. If I say at equatorial area, equator or tropics, कौन हुए? Equator and tropics, there is more temperature. Temperature is more, we can say temperature is more. Okay, temperature is more. So if temperature is more, then what happens? The volume is more. Temperature more hele kon hobo? Volume is more. Also volume is more. Again volume is more. And if volume is more, then density is less. Density is less, right? Density is less. So what happened? If you take the examples of this Gulf Stream, I'm talking about this Gulf Stream. Northern Atlantic re major role keep Gulf Stream. Gulf Stream plays a very vital role. This is your Gulf Stream. What happens exactly in the northern hemisphere? खास कर जदि देखिबा कि North Atlantic gear लिखा है. Okay, gear means it's completely it completely surrounds a loop, right? So what happened? This Gulf Stream, this is a warm oceanic current, right? It takes heat with it and it go away to the near to the your Arctic seas area. That means this Gulf Stream, which is an the warm ocean current, it takes more heat if we say the effect of the global warming, it takes more effect to the Iceland area, right? Iceland area, this is the Iceland area, right? And here what happens, as this heat, okay, as this oceanic current reaches near the Iceland, okay, the icebergs or the ice caps, they literally melt there, okay. So what happens, this particular effect, because of this effect, the water, the melting of ice, okay, melting of ice, what happens, because of the melting of ice, right, the here the density of water, okay, so density of water becoming less, if I say the density of water becoming less, okay. But usually in cold current, what will happen, when cold current, if here temperature is less, generally temperature is less, if temperature is less, then volume is also less, but density is more, okay, density is more. Density more mane kon hela, mane salt content is more also, salt content also more. So what happens when this heat water, okay, this oceanic current, when it reaches here, warm oceanic current, it melts the ice there, okay, melts the ice. So what happens, increasingly the temperature will increase, means I mean the cold temperature will increase at this area, right? But usually if we say 10 years or 20 years before, it was not there, right? It was not there. So what happens, this increasing temperature or melting of ice will increase the heat of this area, increase the heat of, just look at here, this increase the heat of this island area, just look at the map here. It is Gulf Stream is coming, okay, it increases, okay, it literally melting of ice increases, okay, reduces the temperature at island area, Iceland area or at northern hemisphere. So northern hemisphere it is increasing, it is increasing your we can say the temperature will drastically reduce. So what happens, this has a tremendous effect on your northern hemisphere countries, like the more chilling wind will come to the Asiatic part. So who will driven this one, two wind system, that is your easterlies and westerlies, okay, easterlies and westerlies plays a very significant role in driving out this chilling effect that bring to the continents of Asia and other parts of the also Asia and other part of the globe, like your Asia, Europe will the feel like in freezing conditions. Just look at the map here, right? So what will the consequences, let's see. If we see, the normally relatively warm and less saline stays on the oceanic surface, right, oceanic surface, while deep layer are colder, denser and more saline is what is known as ocean stratification. Generally कौन हुए कि ठंडा पानी रे तमर जदि हमें देखिबा कि ओके saline content ता बहुत अधिका थाए, काहे कि ठंडा पानी जदि देखिबा it go deeper, warm water सब बड़े surface ऊपर तमर प्ले करे, जदि हमें देखिबा एठी ओके warm water जदि तमे देखुछ एठी हला एठी Gulf Stream तमर आछि, Gulf Stream because of the more temperature it goes on the surface water, okay, surface ऊपर काहे कि melt हवा एठी तमे देखिला, temperature more, volume more and density less. So normally what happens जदि हमें देखिबा कि if you go to the scientific analysis, okay, so more the more the temperature, more the volume, and your density is the less, so hence it is floats on the surface water. If you come to the when it reaches to the your freezing area, or let's say cold area, generally your water molecules bind together. So what happens, it shrinks, volume shrinks, and water and it goes deeper. That means the ocean current placed in the deeper. So what happens, generally ice, if we say the iceberg or the ice, they generally expels the the eject the salinity. जेतले ice टा तमर कोन हुए, जेतले volume टा contract हे जाय, ओके भला भी सुनो, volume टा जेतले contract हे जाय, से जेतले कोन करे, eject करे कोन ता भितरे जो लुणिया अंश, means I mean the salinity, okay, the saline content. So what happens, again they flow back deeper. It is a blue line that they're again back to the southern part of your Caribbean Sea. I mean the southern part of your this northern hemisphere, when equator तलक आसो. So this acts like an conveyor belt. जदि एटी गरम पानी एपटको गला पुनी अगेन ठंडा पानी एटी आसला. So what happens जदि melting हे जाउची ताले कोन हबो ए जो conveyor belt आई जो oceanic influence ना break हे जो. That means एटी जदि ice melt हबो, okay, जदि कोन more heat flux हला ice नहीं की गला because of the global warming. So what happens? So normally ए जगह तुमरा break हे गला. So आउ सिटी तमरो कोन हबो कि जेहेतु तमरो आइस हेले कोन हबो जेते व्हेन इट गॉट आइस हे जाय से कोन हबो सैलिनिटी को इंक्रीज करे माने सैलिनिटी को एक्सपेल कर दिए सैलिनिटी को किंतु एठी तो मेल्ट हैला आ तो सेटा हबोनी. सो व्हाट हैपेंस ए जो डीपर करंट रो जो मूवमेंट है एटा आउ रहिबोनी. सो मोर वाटर विल the ice water, more water will accumulate in the this equatorial or the near the Caribbean Sea or the near the coast of your Florida coast, and here again the melting will increase. So what happens, because since the melting will increase ei jagare to tamar kon hobo more because of the more your intense your freezing effect will feel in the northern hemisphere and khas kari European countries. So again that chilling effect, the westerly will play a very significant effect in driving out this chilling effect to the Europe and the Asia continent. That is why deadly winter, it is expected that in the coming decade more deadly winter is going to felt by the Asia and Europe. Okay, that is for sure. Let us know further, right? I hope it is understood now. Let's see. So thermohaline is basically in circulations where this what we have discussed, वर्तमान जो discuss कले surface current जोटा कि तमरो रहिबो this because of the more the temperature, okay, so more the volume and less the density or less the salinity. Okay, this is all because of your salinity. We will discuss the salinity. मन रखो जहाँ भी ocean water circulation होची, it is all depends on the salinity. So salinity यदि तमे देखु छ एटी Florida coast to till towards the Iceland it जाउची. Again from the Iceland, again this is a deeper color. This is your जदि देखो deep water formation. Okay, deep water formation, because if there is an deep water, always there is a mechanism of downwelling. मन रखो downwelling कोन हुए, deep water जोटा होची सेटा कोन को जाय हला downwelling. There is a phenomenon called upwelling or downwelling. Downwelling रे कोन हुए, cold current, right? Cold current, okay, moves deeply in the ocean water. In the ocean water, cold current, where upwelling is the mechanism where the cold current, okay, comes to the surface. And it is explain upwelling रे कौन हुए, the cold current, okay, comes to the surface of the ocean. Okay, surface of the ocean. World रे जो जगह तमरो oceanic current दिखाई छै सेठी upwelling mechanism, but एठी कोन होची ए जो mechanism conveyor belt तमे देखिला एठी downwelling mechanism टा होची. That is what here the downwelling mechanism, but एठी break हे गेला. Now let's go for the discussion what is the impact. Let's know further, right? वर्तमान देखिबा कि how island is going to suffer. Rapid temperature increase. कौन हवा island रे? How island is going to suffer? Iceland average annual temperature have increased by 0.2 degree centigrade. जदि हमें देखिबा कि yes, good evening. Okay, hope everyone is fine. Okay, so ita bhala ki bujo, it will enhance or broaden your visions to understand these discussions. Okay, you can take a note of this also, it is available also there. Okay, Iceland annual average temperature have increased by approximately 0.2 degree centigrade per decade. Okay, and since 1980 the warming rate has been about 0.47 degree from the last decade, right? जदि हमें देखिबा कि from the last decade it increase है 0.47 degree. My goodness, माने ग्लोबल एवरेज रे आइसलैंड रो टेम्परेचर 0.2 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड बढ़ुला बट वर्तमान जदि हम देखिबा लास्ट डिकेड रे सिंस 1980 ओके बट जदि हम देखिबा suddenly last 10 years ago it is just double 0.47 degree. Next, glacier melt. Majority of the glaciers in the islands are receding at a faster rate. If you see, majority of the glaciers, they are melting at a very faster rate. It is apprehended that the glacier may vanish within few decades. Some of the scientists or the climatologists, they are from their survey report. It is believed that the glaciers in the northern hemisphere nearby the residing area, located area, may melt by by within few decades. Just look at the map here, will be more clear. Just see, this is Greenland, right? This is Greenland and this is Iceland, right? This is Greenland. So here the completely your iceberg area, okay? Iceberg, or let's say glaciers full of glaciers, these areas, okay, these areas. So there may be apprehended that this glaciers may be melt within few decades, right? Again, changes in the precipitation. It is expected that the precipitation increase with tendency of higher amount during the warm-up periods. Jadi hame dekhiba ki precipitation will be increased. Precipitation means your rainfall. We are talking about the precipitation means your rainfall, right? Again, ecosystem changes, right? Ecosystem changes. You see, due to warming effect, the tropical insects like mosquitoes appeared for the first time. Jadi hame dekhiba ki ei jo effect kon hochi, the Iceland vali bhava Arctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree, and mosquitoes which is basically a tropical insect that is appeared there. These are the changes that that is already visible in the Iceland. Just look at, just think, okay. To be more interesting, okay, ahuri hame dekhiba agugu. Next, just look at, these are the ports. Just look at the map here. These are the ports of islands, okay. These are the ports of Reykjavik, Kelpavik, okay, Hemnai. These are all the ports, important ports, international ports in the Iceland. I am talking about. We'll back to this slide again. Iceland ro jodi dekhiba, Iceland ro also the energy sector, fishing industries and tourism. Okay, if you see the your energy sector, fishing industry and tourism of Iceland is going to greatly affect because of this collapse of amok. Okay. Next, the major coastal ports of Iceland will be hit hard, and that affects the international trade activities with other countries and the Nordic countries. So normally, so this heating effect, normally that is a freezing of ice, freezing condition. It gives an under warm current. Okay, so it keeps a balance. It have a balance create correct for the trade movement. But unfortunately, if this global warming increasing at a faster rate, then because of this melting or because of this collapse of the amok, that creates an major hindrance in the trade activities, okay, among the international among the international countries, and especially with Iceland, with other country, and khas kari jodi dekhiba Nordic nations, because their business set of kaka sange Nordic nation ki jibe. Nordic nations is basically your Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Iceland. These are basically Nordic countries. They are having an great trade exchange with among each other. That will also collapse. Next, see amok collapse and is global negative impact. Let's see the collapse of amok and its global impact. Let's know the potential collapse of amok. Okay, if you see the potential collapse of amok would be a major concern for the global climate. Okay, major concern for the global climate, which effects that would felt worldwide at different continents. Okay, at different continents. Mostly this collapse would disrupt global weather patterns. Okay, mostly it would affect the global weather patterns, and they can be narrated as follows. Let us know one by one कि ये जो कोलैप्स है द्वारा एमोक कोलैप्स द्वारा कि ग्लोबली यार नेगेटिव इंपैक्ट कौन हो जाए जानिबा बहुत जरूरी. This could be questions in your environment chapter, or maybe in your, you can use this all this analysis in while writing in essay also, if it is pertinent to the your essay type discussions or in writing essays, and any essay related to environment also you can attend the geography questions also, right? So let us know this one. The western and the northern Europe would experience extreme cooling. Okay, they would experience extreme cooling with potential temperature drops 2 to 10 degrees centigrade. My goodness. प्राय जदि हमें देखिबा कि maximum western और northern Europe there is a sharp temperature drop of your 2 to 10 degrees centigrade, right? And leading to harsh winters, crop failures, and increase energy demand. That means your entire this is going to major so that is why the Iceland declared it's an threat to its national security. Okay, threats to its national security. Iceland Prime Minister has declared that it's a threat to the national security. Just see, crop failures, energy sector demand one, harsh winters, and how it is an energy demands how, because the rivers which are becoming seasonal, your perennial rivers, they because of this melting, okay, they usually get ice from the glaciers. So what happens if they melts in a rapid rate, the hydropower HEP energy productions will hamper. So of course that will create an hindrance production of your energy, okay, for the Iceland country. Again, slower of the Gulf Stream. Basically, Gulf Stream is a oceanic current. It's a warm oceanic current. Basically, it's a warm ocean current, right? Warm ocean current would cause rapid sea level rise. This gives a rapid sea level rise at the east coast of the United States, right? At the east coast of the United States, because of this Gulf Stream. And again, I will say how this Gulf Stream will induce more hurricanes, right? Gulf activity would cause rapid sea level rise. Sea level rise bhi hoga along the eastern coast of United States. That means the states like your Florida, okay, Florida and jodi dekhiba ki Florida and your Carolina, okay, those are the particularly jodi dekhiba ame Florida and Carolina, they will get affected. Just look at the US here, you will see this one, right? You will see the Florida, Georgia, okay, Carolina, these are the states, Florida, Georgia, Carolina. Okay, whenever you study, I will always advise to sit with the atlas, so that you will have an major impact in your understanding. Next we will see the monsoon system. Again, in the Asia Africa, we significantly disrupted the monsoon system, and across the tropics. In India, West Africa, East Africa, rainfall would likely decreased, okay, increasing risk of your drought and food insecurity. So what I would like to highlight that the monsoon system in India is going to badly affect because of, just look at the map here again, okay, just look at the map here. This is our country India, right? So what happens basically, monsoon system, okay, since since you see here this meridional, this completely there is a flow of, if you see globally, this this thermohaline circulations also connect to the Indian Ocean side. So what happens, this Indian Ocean side, this monsoon, okay, since there is a disrupt in the ocean current, okay, so what happened, the moisture generation capacity of the trade winds will decrease, right? Since it is decreased, so basically it is expected or apprehended that 30 to 40% rainfall monsoon rainfall will decrease in the Indian subcontinent, and of course it will have an very disastrous consequences, like the because of the less availability or the less your downpour or rainfall, that increasing the chances like your drought condition in India, and also it leads to the crop failure and the farmer suicide, right? So that is what is most expected consequences in the, not only in Indian subcontinent, also in the South Asian nations also, right? Just look at here again. So it is also the apart from the crop failures, your droughts and your also food insecurity will rise in the South Asian countries, right? The changes in the South American monsoon also, we are discussing the the collapse of this AMOC, how it is affect to the global negative impact of the globe. Again, the South American monsoons are also predicted with some areas potentially experiencing increase in rainfall. jodi northern hemisphere countries manankar there is an decrease in your rainfall jodi hochi Indians, Africa and the other South Asian nations, then that is in the South American countries like your Brazil, Argentina will experience more rainfall, right? Again, the global marine ecosystem going to suffer as there is a major shifts in the oceanic temperature, and nutrients flow will have a catastrophic impact on the fisheries and biodiversity. है कहीं nutrient flow disrupt हवा as we saw that's thermohaline circulations here. Okay, there is a disruptions in, just look at here, if because this जदि कौन हुए warm ocean current generally ता सांगरे कौन नहीं nutrients नहीं की जाए, okay, algae नहीं की जाए, and this is fishing hub, it is देखो Newfoundland, okay, and this is a Labrador current, this pattern this disrupts cold current जो आसीबनी, so it will affect the your nutrient contents in the marine ecosystem. Of course that will that's major affected in your fishing community. It's basically the population of the fishes, marine fishes, and it is expected that the schools of fish generally, okay, schools of fish in Indian Oceans, Atlantic Ocean, or also in Pacific Ocean will drastically reduce. Okay, and of course, if the the population of the fish in the marine fish will aquatic fish will decrease, definitely it will direct impact on the livelihood of the fishing communities. Okay, those who are the fishing communities, their livelihood is going to greatly affected because of this hammock collapse. Next we'll see. Again, there is a chances of more tropical cyclones. It is expected that there is a chances of more tropical cyclones in Atlantic Oceans as warmer waters tropics could fuel more Atlantic hurricanes. Just look at here. Hurricanes will more expected. This is the path of your hurricanes, right? This is your hurricanes, we can say. This is your hurricanes, right? This is your hurricanes, we can say. This is your hurricanes, right? This is the hurricanes. So we can see the hurricanes will more means the Gulf of Mexico coast, I mean the states nearby to the Gulf of Mexico or the Caribbeans, the Central American state and USA, they felt more hurricanes. Okay, more hurricanes. Okay, more hurricanes will will affect to USA, Mexico, okay, and other Central American states, okay, other Central American states or nations, we can say. This is what. Next, see also there is an the chances of we'll see the chances of this your cropping pattern in Iceland also is going to greatly affected because of this ones, right? Now see, we'll discuss this Iceland's mitigation strategy to climate change. What Iceland is going to take actions to mitigate this climate change? Let's know. Iceland adopted a climatic change. Okay, the government of Iceland has adopted a climatic change strategy since 2007. Jodi hame dekhiba ki it is not that the government of Iceland has currently adopted the mitigation strategy. No, absolutely not. Since 2007, the government of Iceland has adopted a mitigation strategy that with goal to reduce greenhouse gas emission. Okay, reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and by 50 to 75% by 2050. So the government of Iceland has committed to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions 75%, 50 to 75% till 2050. So basically greenhouse gas basically carbon dioxide and methane. Okay, these are the very highly potential greenhouse gases, right? And also more the committed to following the guidelines of Paris Agreement. Okay, Paris Agreement was talk about the for reduction of this greenhouse gas emissions. Let's talk about that one, right? Second, the government is working on national adoption plans, okay, to address the issues like change the sea level and the river flows also. Okay, how to mitigate to impact of this the collapse of hammock. So the mitigation plans. They're also saying they're evacuating the coastal communities, okay, coastal communities, and to rehabilitate in the safer place, okay. Also the river flows, river is expected to going dry. Of course jodi tame dekhibo Italy re jo achi tamara Venice river, okay, that is also getting dry. aguru Italy bhitar seta pani loko mane boating korthile, bartman dekha hochi Venice re se river bartman drying off again. This is all because of the global warming impact, and Europe is severely affected because of this. Seeking the international cooperations, the Iceland is a global leader, okay. Iceland is a global leader in climate change adaptations and mitigation efforts. Jodi hum dekhiba climate change effect and the mitigation effects, having hosted events like world fast global graveyard. That is what the fast global graveyard jodi hum dekhiba Iceland is going to is going to this one. That's also Iceland is making an leadership role to to declare to leadership role to take initiate that the impact of this global warming and how Iceland is going to vanish within decades. That is what the Iceland is taking a leadership and making aware to the your global community, right? Okay, so this is all about Iceland. I hope this is an interesting for the all, and it's a base learning. This is very useful, समझते useful होगा either in your environment topics and also जदि देखिए हमें कि other in the essay type, also in geography, right? So basically जो मैंने भी पढ़िया को करूचो ओडिशा सिविल्स तरफ we are having started the GS batch, your offline batches, and also I'm talking the geography optional. Both online offline has started, and those who want to reach me out, you are having 797-8090-972. You can reach me out on this. Okay, we'll have the WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp, and also I have the TG channel. If you Telegram, you can connect me with your Telegram channel, and that is also the provided. The link is provided to in the this this particular video attached. Okay. So anything else I can say? So this is a very important topic, and please go through this one. Okay. Any further, we'll come with a further will your new new topics and regular your classes regarding the regular classes. And you want to wish to, they can connect me over this one. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Thank you all for your patience to stay with me. Thank you all of you. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you all of you. Thank you. Thank you all of you. Thank you.